Introvert? Yeah, me too, but it's pretty hard to ever sell anything to anyone if you don't really like talking to people, right? So it's taken me a few years to get here, and I now make multiple six figures a year, but I'm here to talk to you about selling and speaking and being more confident. So if you know me, I love my quotes, so let's start there. People will believe a confident beginner more than they will believe a nervous expert, right? Now there's a lot to unpack in that, but I'm sure you understand what it means. But essentially, it doesn't matter what service you sell or how good you are. If you can't communicate well, you're going to struggle. So by the end of this video, my goal is to get you to feel more confident when you're selling, right? How you can speak, how you can sell, ultimately a bunch of tips on how you can get more people to say yes, how you can close more deals, but without feeling pushy or salesy. Number one is the flow, right? Imagine trying to get a client to drink through a hose. You've got to take your time. Write out a few key things that you know you want to say and then practice it, right? Don't practice until you get it right, but just practice it until you can't get it wrong. Tip number two is the balance. You should actually spend about 80% of your time listening and only 20% of your time talking. And amongst that 20, the majority of it should be crucial questions. If you don't really know what to ask, then here's a few key things that you could say. It could be something along the lines of, you're talking to someone and you're asking them what's their number one priority. You could also ask them about things that they've tried in the past that haven't worked. And you can also find out if they were to summarize their business in 2 words, what would those 2 words be? There's been a lot of studies in the past about successful sales calls, and a lot of the time the clients are just happy to talk because they feel like somebody understands. So your goal is to get them to talk about their business, ask some really crucial questions, and make sure they feel heard. Tip number 3 is to stand out, right? When you're talking to a client, you don't just want to blend in with everybody else, right? You want to be someone that they remember. And a bit of small talk goes a long way. So you can ask them where they're calling in from. And if you've got any experiences or any stories about that place, you can already have a bit of chit chat beforehand. The goal should always be to connect on a deeper level, show a genuine interest about their business, where they're from, about them as a person. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, people buy from people they like. Tip number 4, break down the process. A lot of the time, clients will just get cold feet because they don't really understand what's next. It feels a little bit foggy, it's not tangible, they don't really understand. So they'll just back out. So it's your job to explain the process, right? And you know that process better than anyone else. So you could even write a bit of a script. You can rehearse it. You need to know what you're going to say. So you can start off by talking about all the things you need from them first. You can talk about those initial stages. You can talk about the revision process and when you can check in, make sure things are all aligned. And then you can talk about at the end, when everything's successful, what do they get? So you want to just remove any friction around the process, make it feel smooth, make it feel seamless, and just act as the guide that's going to help them through it. So the overarching idea here is to make people feel understood, right? So if you're talking to a parent, let them know that you know their time's valuable and you don't want to take up too much of their time because you know they're busy. Maybe you're talking to someone who loves to read it. Let them know what book you're chewing through at the moment. If you feel relatable and it's clear you know what you're doing, then you'll become the obvious choice. Now, if there's any other areas, anything else you want me to cover, drop it in the comments below. I believe in you. You got it. See you in the next one.